Welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Part 3 this time. And don't worry, don't get too used to this, well, view, because this episode is gonna be action-packed to the brim. We're going to continue on the quest to save the beach close by to the Lanaryu village. We will, well, try to reach Kakariko village. We will see how that goes. We will go to visit Hateno, the city of Hateno, village of Hateno, Hateno village. We will visit Hateno village, and other than that, a lot of exploring, shrines, Koroks, and whatnot is going to await us. So, without further ado, strap in, get comfy, because this is going to be quite the adventure. First things first, as I mentioned, was going to finish the side quest at Aris beach. If you remember from the last episode, apparently it was taken over by a couple of monsters, and we're now on our way to take it back so the villagers can fish in peace again. Let me tell you, this isn't an easy task. First of all, there are crazy amounts of monsters there, including one white bokoblin, lots of black ones, a couple of blue ones that use bow and arrow to fight me, and a black moblin. I think it's called moblin, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a moblin, yeah. However, even if it looked bad, at least I had one big fat advantage, and that was all of them were out at sea. And in case you don't know, these monsters can't swim. The moment you push them into the sea, they pretty much drown and you're good to go. Yes, I know, murderous intent, but we have to save it for the good people of... So, without further ado, let's start the siege at Aris beach. On my first attempt, I tried it with a good old frontal attack. I needed to climb up these pillars to reach higher platforms so I could finally start to attack them. However, as you can see, it was raining, so I had to wait here until finally the sun would shine, which means until then I would need to avoid them throwing rocks at me all the time. After standing on this platform for almost 2 minutes, I was finally able to climb up the pillar, reach the higher platform, and I was ready to strike. And let me tell you, that didn't take long. Also, I like how the music was building up to a crescendo just for me to die. On my second attempt, I tried to reach the other side. First, I swam to the little island where I took care of the one with bow and arrow, and then I just swam straight for the second tower, while also avoiding some arrows and also flame my arrow. Jesus Christ! I finally reached the bottom of the tower, equipped my weapon, rushed up, and...
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
On my third attempt, I tried to approach this problem from a different angle. I ran around the beach and approached the enemy base from the other side. I took care of 3 archers, and then I went straight back to the platform. No, and then this happened.
Why are we still here?
Since the save started me off on the other side, I decided to continue from there. This time I decided to take my time. I wanted to take out as many of the bokoblins as I could with my bow and arrow and then go to the platform. After baby stepping my way over there, I finally got to the platform. But the first moblin showed up, but it wasn't him who took care of me. Jesus fucking Christ. Back in action yet again. You know the drill. This and that and also and then you dodge. Okay, let's go step by step. 1, 2, 3. One a little closer and one with bomb. one from a distance, and then onto the wooden platform. Once here, I bared witness to the slowest death in video game history. Sneak my way up so I could finish this moblin with one shot in the head. And then finish this white bokoblin with 2 bomb arrows, one from the higher platform and one down below. And once the last blue bokoblin archer was dealt with, we were finally done with the siege at Aris Beach. Back in village, I claimed my amazing award for the side quest, stole some fish and decided to go to a shrine next to a cliff. I climbed my way up and found this little pond, which I really enjoyed. After that, I continued my road further towards the cliff to the shrine, came by the skull full of enemies, and let me tell you, no, that's not okay. And finally arrived at the shrine. I don't like the sound of that. A modest test of strength has you fight against a robot with a huge ass axe and a shield. But maybe this was never meant to be a fight. What if this isn't even an arena? What if it's more like a hall and this was meant to be a dance? What were only 10 seconds for you were 30 minutes for me. I'm not even kidding. I never want to do any of those shrines ever again. I grabbed whatever was to loot and left this place. Back outside, I discovered another shrine. I glided over there and guess what? Well, no, just kidding, I gave up. I teleported back to the previous shrine and decided to make a beeline to Hateno village. The reason for that was that I first of all wanted to get the picture rune shrine ability, and my second plan was to buy some armor there since they have the good stuff. And those were all the thoughts that went into this plan, and just for a moment, Jesus Christ, this looks gorgeous. I made a beeline for Hateno village, and just before I arrived,
Link, be on your guard.
and once that was done, I went straight for the shrine. Ah yes, one of the infamous shrines. In case you don't know, you have to roll this ball through this labyrinth here. I tried it once, legitimately, and then just gave up and did it the cheesy peasy way. And back outside. I rested near this campfire and spent the next day exploring the village. First I found this, well, demon statue or whatever of Hylia. Even if it's not, don't dump this lore on me. She had the ability to exchange hearts and stamina for, I guess, something else, but since we haven't spent a single one of those yet, she was just getting annoyed and sent me off and to come back once we have that. That started a side quest, fucking hell. I then went to the trade hub, bought some ingredients, and after that went straight for the armory, and Jesus Christ. Oh, for once I felt secure. I accepted a quest to help this lovebird to find, 100 crickets? Jesus Christ. And once accepted, I headed straight up for the research lab. But then something weird happened. My initial plan was to get the fucking upgrade so that I could take pictures of things, because I really like this part in Tears of the Kingdom. Yet for some reason, you need to first get your approval by Imper, who lives in Kakariko village. So my initial plan to get this here was for now laid on ice. However, I was able to run around in Hateno village however I pleased and maybe be able to finish a couple side quests, who knows. But now we have a clear goal. Go to Kakariko village, get the approval of Impa, then come back here and then finally get the camera upgrade. Well, maybe we'll be able to get it in this episode. First things first, I decided to dye my cape green to get a more Zelda vibe. And then talked to this lady up on the mountain who told us the story that apparently monsters stole her sheep and fled to a certain beach. Not being able to say no, I just quickly followed her instructions and found the monster's base at the beach. Considering how many monsters there were, I had to come up with a plan. I decided to wait until nightfall, sneak my way into their base, and then take as many of them out as quiet as possible. Once I was done looting the outpost, I teleported back to Hateno village. I accepted this random quest from this lady about trees. Gave this guy his beloved crickets for his love of the life in the inn. And then claimed my reward from the lady who asked me to clear out the monster base down at the beach. With all that said, I then continued my way onwards towards the mountains to investigate this whole trees on top of a mountain quest. Once in the snowy area, I started to head east. And when I reached the cliff of the mountain area, I glided down. And wouldn't you know it, this shrine apparently didn't pose a challenge, but was offering a blessing. And that definitely was worth it. Once out of the shrine, I continued my way towards the shore and just headed north from there. Hope you enjoyed this little travel bit. I then arrived at this green hill thingamajig with a Lynel waiting for me. Eager to find out how much I've grown, I wanted to see if I was actually able to damage him or maybe even kill him. Well, I don't think that's happening. So I didn't bother him and continued my hike towards the north. Whenever I'm traveling from one place to another, you can always safely assume that I'm fighting a couple of bad guys. Find Koroks here and there. And maybe even discover enemies that are too strong for me. But yeah, I don't want to bore you with non-stop and endless walks from point A to point B. So let's just skip to the next interesting place. I encountered Kaas on this rocky shore. He told me the lore of the land and explained that there might be a shrine hidden here somewhere. Apparently what I have to do is get the airflow back to moving again by blowing out some rocks and letting it flow freely. And then just glide over to this platform. And glide over to the platform. Jesus Christ. Yeah. We grabbed the blessing from the shrine and continued our road. After traveling further inland, I discovered this shrine, surrounded by thorns. Getting to it was easier done than said, and once inside, I was finally faced with a proper challenge. The shrine called 5 Flames. I remember the shrine as being one of the toughest ones I had to face, like, ever. By searching through the few memories that I still have of this game in my scrambled brain, I remember being stuck in this place for over 20 minutes. However, this time it took me less than 2 minutes. I have no idea what happened, but it was relatively simple. In case you have never seen this shrine, all you have to do is move this block left, right, up and down and light all the torches on top of it. But be careful, one of those little nipples that stand away from the block spurts out water all the time, so it takes out your flames. However, I just kept it on the lowest level and just moved the block around, and for some reason that worked out. So yeah, it was incredible. Back outside, I further continued my travels further inland, and let me just tell you, Jesus Christ, this looks absolutely beautiful. Do you remember Twilight Princess in the opening where you had Link as a wolf howling? Yeah, this feels like that. I then continued my way towards the lonely standing tree on the cliff, only to meet a familiar face. Again. Kaas was here for some reason and offered me another trial. He was looking apparently for a beast with a crown of bone, and he wants me to mount it and bring the beast onto the platform. Of course, my initial thought was, yeah, he wants a horse that's like a skeleton, right? A skeletal horse, and ride it here. After searching here throughout the whole night, I couldn't find a single one, and just to be safe, I picked up this head from a skeletal bokoblin, brought it here, just to realize that doesn't work. I let it be for the moment, and continued exploring. Shortly after, I stumbled upon the Lanaryu road, which led me into this valley. After solving another quick Korok puzzle, my spider senses started to tingle. And it led me to quite a mysterious place. In case you have never seen this before, let the game speak for itself. Oh, great fairy, how I've missed you. She is helping us in our quest, because she can enhance our armor, making it stronger, giving us more durability in it, etc, etc. I definitely abused this to the absolute maximum, at least as much as I could in this moment. But the difference is night and day. Feeling stronger than ever, I further continued heading towards the shrine sensor thingamajig and was led to a familiar place. After 3 full episodes, we finally arrived at Kakariko. But for now, let's just finish this shrine so we get our fast travel option here. This shrine could be what some people like to call a tutorial. It teaches you about side hopping, backflipping, blocking something with your shield, and I guess attacking. You know, stuff we already know, but I guess for someone who's never played this is like the first area you would probably head to learn all these things. Even though I feel like at this point you probably know all of them anyway, but yeah. Anyway, we quickly finished it and it was done before we knew it. I'll take it. Well then, and those were 3 hours of gameplay cut down to a 25-minute video. I want to thank you for sticking through it till the end. I hope this video was somewhat enjoyable. I tried to not make it as boring as the last one, but yeah. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this. Anyway, we will see what awaits us next episode, and until then, thank you for watching.